You look at your dog in winter and feel like you're doing everything right. You covered the kennel, you increased their food, you let them sleep wherever they want. It looks like care, it looks like love. But what if I told you that some of these actions, the ones that seem the most harmless, are exactly what's hurting them right now? Every winter, thousands of dogs develop kidney problems, chronic joint inflammation, and silent anxiety, not because of neglect, because of misguided care, because of mistakes that dedicated owners make without even realizing it. And the uncomfortable truth is this: you're probably making at least one of them right now. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 winter mistakes that most dog owners never connect to their dog's suffering. Mistakes that look like care, but actually work in the opposite way. Some will surprise you, others will make you rethink things you've been doing for years. And I'm saving the most dangerous one for last, because it's the one no owner notices. It's silent, it's daily, and it's happening right now while you're watching this video. Stay until the end. What I'm going to show you in the last point could change the rest of your dog's life. Be honest, have you ever added a little extra to your dog's bowl in the winter? It feels good, right? Like you're preparing your dog's body for the cold, like that extra portion is an added layer of protection. Most owners do this, and none of them realize the problem they're creating. Here's what science shows. Dogs that live in controlled indoor environments, inside the house with heating, with stable temperatures, don't need more calories in the winter. They need less. The reason is simple. When it's cold, movement decreases. Walks get shorter, backyard playtime disappears, energy expenditure drops. But appetite? That stays the same. And that's where the problem begins. That extra spoonful that feels like care starts to add up day after day, week after week. The result isn't just a slightly rounder belly, it's added pressure on joints that are already struggling in the cold. It's visceral fat that inflames internal organs. It's a heart working harder than it should. Overweight dogs develop osteoarthritis earlier. They have a harder time regulating body temperature, and they suffer more, in silence, because they have no way to tell you they're in pain. The right adjustment here isn't to take food away, it's to calibrate. Keep portions aligned with your dog's actual activity level that day. If the walk was short, the meal can be slightly smaller. And instead of increasing quantity, increase quality. Warm, moist food, close to body temperature, hydrates, satisfies faster, and is absorbed more efficiently by the body in cold weather. In winter, every calorie counts, and the excess is what causes the most harm. But food is just the beginning. The next mistake involves something you've probably cut back on during winter, thinking you were being sensible, and it may be costing far more than you realize. Have you ever looked out the window on a winter day, felt the cold outside, and thought, "We're staying in today"? It seems like a reasonable decision, even a caring one. After all, why take your dog out of the comfort of home and into the cold wind outside? Here's what that decision is actually causing, and you've probably never connected the two. Dogs aren't just animals that need physical exercise. They are sensory processing machines. A dog's nose contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors, compared to just 6 million in humans. Their world isn't visual, it's olfactory. Every walk is a full reading of the environment: who passed by, what they ate, how they were feeling. It's social, territorial, and emotional information, all encoded in scent. When you cut walks during winter, you're not just reducing exercise, you're cutting off your dog's access to the world. And what happens when a social, sensory-driven animal is deprived of stimulation for days at a time? Cortisol levels rise. Cortisol is the stress hormone. And in dogs, chronically elevated levels lead to anxiety, irritability, and behaviors most owners mistake for disobedience. Chewing the wrong things, barking for no reason, pacing, destroying objects. It's not bad behavior, it's a nervous system crying out for stimulation. On top of that, reduced movement in cold weather worsens joint stiffness, especially in older dogs. Muscles that don't move begin to shorten. Joints that aren't used lose mobility, and the dog you think is resting may actually be stiffening up.
The solution doesn't require heroics. Short, consistent walks are better than long, infrequent ones. 10 to 15 minutes a day already makes a measurable difference in cortisol levels and joint mobility. On colder days, protect the most vulnerable parts of the body, the belly and extremities, with clothing appropriate for your dog's size. Avoid surfaces treated with salt or de-icing chemicals, which can irritate their paws. A winter walk doesn't have to be long. It just has to happen. And if this is already making sense to you, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. We post every week to help owners understand what their dog is trying to tell them before it turns into a bigger problem. The next mistake is one of the most underestimated. It has to do with something you can't even see, but that's affecting your dog's body every single winter day.
Have you noticed your dog drinking less water in the winter? If you have, you probably thought it makes sense. It's cold, they don't need as much water right now. That thought is understandable and completely wrong. Here's what's actually happening inside your dog's body when the heater is on. Heated indoor air has very low relative humidity. It dries everything out: furniture, skin, mucous membranes, and it gradually, invisibly, continuously pulls moisture from inside your dog's body. The problem is that dogs naturally have a low thirst drive. They don't detect dehydration as efficiently as we do. Their body starts compensating, concentrating urine, reducing kidney filtration, working harder to maintain fluid balance. Over time, this turns into thick, dark urine, urinary crystals, urinary tract infections. In chronic cases, kidney overload with progressive damage. And all of this can happen without a single visible symptom in the first few weeks. The early signs are subtle. Your dog spends more time near the place where they usually urinate, takes longer to pee, urinates less frequently. You notice it and assume everything is fine. It's not. The solution is straightforward. Place water fountains in at least 2 different spots around the house. Dogs drink more when water is moving. Serve warm, moist food, which hydrates while also adding comfortable body warmth. Use a humidifier in the room where your dog spends most of their time. It doesn't have to be expensive, it just has to work. Hydration isn't just a summer concern. In winter, it protects your dog's kidneys from damage you'll only notice when it's already too late. And speaking of something you can't see, the next item is about the air your dog is breathing inside your home right now.
In winter, the first thing we do is close everything up. Windows, doors, cracks. The tighter it's sealed, the warmer it stays. It makes sense. For you. For your dog, that hermetically sealed home may be turning into a progressively toxic environment. Think about this. A dog's sense of smell is between 10,000 and 100,000 times more sensitive than a human's. What feels like a faint trace of dust to you is a dense, constant fog to them. What you barely notice, they process at full intensity, without pause, without choice. In spaces that stay closed for long periods, invisible particles start to build up. Dust mites, fungal spores, rising levels of carbon dioxide, and volatile organic compounds released by furniture, paint, and cleaning products. Dogs chronically exposed to this kind of environment develop frequent sneezing, watery eyes, and a dry cough, symptoms most owners attribute to something else. Over time, the immune system operates in a constant state of alert, fatigue, lethargy, irritability. It looks like winter laziness. It's not. The simplest solution has been around for millennia: ventilation. Opening a window for 5 to 10 minutes a day, preferably when the sun is strongest, already refreshes the air significantly. Keep your dog away from direct cold drafts during that time, but let the air circulate through the space. If you live in a region with extreme cold, an air purifier with a HEPA filter is an investment that pays off quickly in fewer vet visits. It captures the particles your heater spreads throughout the environment all day long. Your dog can't tell you the air is bad, but their body is responding to it all the time. And the next mistake will make it clear that what you add to the air isn't always less dangerous than what was already in it. Cinnamon, eucalyptus, pine, vanilla.
These are the scents of winter, the ones that make your home feel cozy, safe, warm. For you, they're comfort. For your dog's liver, they can be poison. Here's the biochemistry no diffuser label tells you. A dog's body doesn't have the necessary liver enzymes to metabolize many of the compounds found in essential oils. Glucuronidation, the process the liver uses to neutralize and eliminate these substances, is significantly less efficient in dogs than in humans. Translated, what your liver processes and clears in hours can circulate in your dog's body for days, building up to progressively toxic levels. The most dangerous ones are exactly the winter favorites: eucalyptus, cinnamon, pine, clove, tea tree. When diffused in enclosed spaces, exactly how they're used in winter, these compounds are inhaled at maximum concentration by an animal whose olfactory system detects every molecule with far greater intensity than yours. The signs of essential oil toxicity in dogs are easy to overlook: frequent sneezing, excessive salivation, unsteady walking, lethargy, vomiting. Most owners don't connect these symptoms to the diffuser running in the living room. Even products labeled natural, organic, or eco-friendly can contain essential oils that are toxic to dogs. A label doesn't guarantee safety for animals. And candles? The problem here is twofold. Paraffin candles release benzene compounds and aldehydes when burned, substances that irritate the airways of any animal. On top of that, an open flame in a home with a curious dog is an obvious physical risk. There are safer alternatives: soy or beeswax candles without added fragrance, air purifiers instead of diffusers. If you want a winter scent in your home, open a window near a garden for a few minutes. It works better than any diffuser and costs nothing. Your dog won't tell you the smell is harmful, but their body will respond, and by the time the symptoms become visible, the damage is already done. The next mistake is the cruelest of all, because it uses the language of love to hide the problem.
Your dog is sleeping more, getting up more slowly, taking a little longer to move after resting. And you think, it's winter. Everyone gets like that. That interpretation is the most common and the most costly mistake owners make this time of year. Here's what no one teaches you about dogs in pain. Dogs hide pain by instinct. This isn't a conscious choice. It's an evolutionary behavior inherited from wild ancestors where showing vulnerability attracted predators. An animal that limps, cries out, or signals weakness becomes a target. So, what do dogs do when they're in pain? They stop moving. They stay still. They avoid whatever hurts. And that looks exactly like winter laziness. Arthritis, canine osteoarthritis, affects about 20% of all adult dogs. In dogs over 7 years old, that number rises to more than 60%. And cold weather is a direct trigger for joint inflammation. Lower temperatures cause tissues around the joints to contract, reduce the viscosity of synovial fluid, the liquid that lubricates the joints, and increase pain perception. The result is a dog that wakes up stiff, hesitates before climbing a step, prefers staying still over moving, stops seeking affection because even small movements hurt. You interpret it as temperament, as laziness, as natural aging. But suffering isn't natural. It's just silent. The signs that deserve immediate attention are these: difficulty standing up after resting, reluctance to climb stairs or jump onto surfaces they used to reach easily, excessive licking of specific joints, unexplained mood changes, and reduced interest in interactions they once enjoyed. If you notice 2 or more of these, the conversation should be with your veterinarian, not with the weather. Treatment exists, it works, and it can make an enormous difference in your dog's quality of life. But only if you stop calling pain what you've been calling laziness. And now we've reached the point I promised at the beginning, the quietest one, the most constant, and probably the one happening in your home right now.
This is the one I promised from the beginning. The mistake that feels the most natural, the hardest to notice, and one of the most damaging over the course of winter. You let your dog choose where to sleep. They go to their favorite spot, that corner in the hallway, under the window, on the kitchen tile. You think it's their choice, that they like it there. But here's what's happening inside their body while they sleep on that cold floor. Dogs are homeothermic. Like us, they regulate their internal temperature body. But unlike humans, they lose heat much faster through direct contact with cold surfaces. This process is called thermal conduction. Heat flows from the warmer body to the colder surface until equilibrium is reached. A dog lying on ceramic tile or concrete in winter is constantly losing heat for hours while they sleep. The body compensates by increasing involuntary muscular activity to maintain core temperature. That consumes energy, it disrupts sleep, and it keeps muscles in a state of tension even during rest. The joints in contact with the cold floor, hips, elbows, knees, are exposed to temperatures that cause surrounding tissues to contract. In dogs predisposed to arthritis, large breeds, older dogs, overweight animals, this process measurably accelerates joint deterioration. And here's the cruelest detail. Your dog may not have another option. They return to the cold floor because it's the space they know, not because it's what they prefer. The solution fits any budget. A bed with thermal insulation, whether memory foam or a raised design off the ground, completely changes your dog's sleep dynamics in winter. The goal is simple. Eliminate direct contact with the cold surface. Place the bed away from drafts and external walls, which transmit cold through conduction even without direct contact. An interior corner of the home, away from windows, is almost always the best spot. On colder nights, an extra blanket over the bed, not over the dog, which can restrict movement and ventilation, already makes a meaningful difference in the temperature of the resting surface. That spot your dog chose wasn't an accident. It was the most accessible place, and because of that, it's your responsibility to make that place safe. That corner in the hallway, that position under the window, for them, it was never just a place to sleep. It was the place where they trusted they would be protected. That trust is silent, and it deserves a response worthy of it.
If you made it this far, you already know you're not the kind of owner who ignores things. You pay attention. You question. You want to understand what's behind your dog's behavior before it turns into a problem you didn't see coming. That's exactly who this channel is for. Every week, we publish videos like this, sharing what science actually knows about dogs, the kind of insight most owners will never hear at the vet, at the pet store, or in generic content online. No fluff, no unnecessary fear, just what truly changes the way you care for your dog. If this resonates with you, subscribe now. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. And before you go, leave a comment below. Which of the 7 mistakes made the most sense to you? Which one had you never connected to your dog's suffering before? We read every comment, and many times, what you share here becomes the next video.